friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. Today I have for you what is rather a small July book haul. I normally have quite large book hauls, as you know if you've been here for any length of time. If you haven't, I normally have large book hauls. Today though, I only have 7 books to show you. I'm pretty proud of myself. I guess it doesn't hurt to add that I was gone for the first 2 weeks of July until about the 12th. I was out of the country and I did not buy any books while I was in Turkey because I only used a carry-on and I had no possible way to fit them in my bags. I have 7 books here to show you that I'm adding to my shelves. The first 4, I think I must have got at the end of June because I honestly don't even remember where I got them. I know I didn't spend a lot of money on them because I just don't spend a lot of money on books. The first is a middle grade. It's called The Grimm Legacy by Polly Shulman. In this story, we follow Elizabeth, who works at this library, New York Circulating Material Repository, a lending library of objects. And in the basement, there's this whole room of objects that supposedly have come from the Grimm brother fairy tales, like magic mirrors and 7-league boots and other items. And those start to disappear. So she and some of the other people she works with has to figure out what is happening to these items. Just sounds like a fun ride and a fun middle grade. So I grabbed that one. I picked up another Louise Penny book that I don't yet have, A Rule Against Murder. This is book 4, and I'm on book 3. So I'm glad that I have this because once I read The Cruelest Month, this one will be next. And so I'm glad that I have it. I need to continue with this series. I really like them. It's a mystery series where we follow this group of people in this small town of Three Pines. It's a Canadian town, and Armand Gamache is the inspector that keeps getting called in because people in this town keep dying. It's almost a cozy, not quite a cozy, but it feels very cozy because you really get to know these characters. They feel very real because they're not perfect in any way, but they are also quite quirky and lovable, and I absolutely loved the first 2 books and am eager to continue with this series. I picked up this one because of the cover. It just looks like a book that I would like, and I was a piano teacher for a while, way back in the day. But this one is The Piano Teacher by Janice Y.K. Lee. This, I believe, is a historical fiction. It takes place in 1942. An Englishman arrives in Hong Kong, falls in love with Trudy Lang, a beautiful Eurasian socialite, but their affair is threatened by the invasion of the Japanese as World War II overwhelms their lives. So it takes place on the Asian side of things during World War II. I'm a sucker for a World War II historical fiction, and a little bit of romance in there. It doesn't hurt. And then this is a book I have had on my to-read list on Goodreads for quite a while. I don't remember who I ever heard talk about this ages ago. This one is called Bitter Greens by Kate Forsyth. This feels like such a big book, but it's really only just under 500 pages. The amazing power and truth of the Rapunzel fairy tale comes alive for the first time in this breathtaking tale of desire, black magic, and the redemptive power of love. In this novel, we focus around the story of Rapunzel in a way, but we follow this woman named Charlotte. It takes place way back in like the 1500s. Charlotte is supposedly the author of the original Rapunzel story. She is quite a witty woman and makes the king mad, and he banishes her to this convent. In the convent, she meets this nun named Selina, who tells her the story of Margarita, who was locked away in a tower and sings, hoping someone will come and rescue her. And somehow all 3 of these women's lives, Charlotte, Selina, and Margarita, their lives all intertwine surrounding this story of what is now what we know as Rapunzel. I am a big fan of retellings. This one sounds different from others that I've read. I love that it has a historical aspect to it, and I wish I could remember who it was that told me about this, but I'm excited that I now have it. If you've read this one, I would love to hear what you thought of it. The last 3 I just purchased last weekend. I was so thankful to be able to go to DC to hear Bianca Murray speak about her new book, If You Want to Make God Laugh, which I did purchase at full price. And if you've been around my book hauls any length of time, you know that that is a very rare thing. But I loved Hum If You Don't Know the Words, and really was eager to hear her speak and talk about her life growing up in South Africa and what inspired these books and kind of stories behind different aspects of things that she wrote about. I was not at all disappointed. Bianca is such a lovely person, very friendly and personable. I loved getting to meet her in person and hear her talk. I'm very excited to read this book. It will probably be happening sooner rather than later. This one also takes place in South Africa, just at the very end of apartheid, when Black people for the first time are able to vote, when the AIDS epidemic is rampant across the country, and both of those things play a big part in here. But we also follow 3 women who we get to know their stories, and I think Beauty and Robin from Hum, if you don't know the words, also make a cameo appearance in this one. But you don't need to have read Hum to read this one. I've also been hearing very good things from those who've already read it or from those who read early copies. This was just released maybe a month ago. So I'm very, very excited to jump right on that hype train and help hype this book up, because I think it's going to be fantastic. So I want to read it very soon. While I was there in DC at this bookstore, they had a shelf that was discounted books. So of course I perused that shelf and found 2 things. I found this bind up of Heavens to Betsy and Betsy in Spite of Herself. I have already read these 2 books that are in here, but this is the edition of the Betsy Tacy series that I would love to collect. Yeah, I'm really excited that I found this. This is the first ones actually that I now own. I'm really sad because I'm behind now again in the Betsy Tacy read-along for the year, because my library does not have any more of the books. So I am going to have to purchase some more of them, which is fine, because I would like to own the whole series eventually, because I love them. And finally, on that discounted sale shelf at that bookstore, I found Recursion by Blake Crouch. Brand new hardcover, just came out a couple weeks ago, and it was only $10, and it's in perfect condition. This is by the same author of Dark Matter, which I absolutely loved. I honestly don't really know much about this. It is still so new that I haven't heard too many people talk about it. It's been on a lot of TBRs that I've seen, but I have seen a few people who've read it already and they really enjoyed it. Some liked it more than Dark Matter, some liked Dark Matter better. I know that it's going to have a science aspect to it as well. Let's see what it's about. Memory makes reality. That's what New York City cop Barry Sutton is learning as he investigates the devastating phenomenon the media has dubbed false memory syndrome, a mysterious affliction that drives its victims mad with memories of a life they never lived. Okay, I'm going to stop there because that sounds good. So this is going to deal with memory. It's going to deal with science. Dark Matter had quite a bit of science in it, but even though I felt a little lost in understanding it, I didn't feel that it took away from my enjoyment of the story. So I'm hoping that this one is similar. I do not have a science mind at all, and so some of it might go over my head, but I'm hoping that the story is enough that the science, whether you get it or not, doesn't matter. I'm hoping. But there you go. That was a really good find at the store. All right, so here are the 8 books that I'm hauling. 7. I can't count. Here are the 7 books that I'm hauling for the month of July. I'm pretty proud, even in my birthday month. I was in Turkey for my birthday, so I didn't really have a gathering or anything like that, so I didn't really receive or buy myself any birthday books this year. I mean, I guess I can count this as a birthday book because I'd never pay full price for books. So happy birthday to me with Bianca Murray. Yeah, that's it. Let's chat in the comments below if you've read or are interested in any of these books or anything else that you want to chat about. You know I love talking to you down there. And be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I will be talking to you in another video very soon. Bye!